How many times have you questioned what really happens when we die? A question as old as humanity itself, it's one that's been at the heart of philosophical debates, religious doctrines, and scientific inquiries for millennia. The concept of death, the end of life, the ultimate full stop on our mortal journey, is as fascinating as it is terrifying. We're beings of curiosity, drawn towards the unknown like moths to a flame. And what could be more unknown, more intriguing than the final frontier of our existence? Throughout history, we've sought to understand this enigma, to pull back the veil and peek at what lies beyond. From the ancient Egyptians with their elaborate burial rituals to modern scientists with their clinical autopsies, our fascination with death is as enduring as life itself. But death is more than just a philosophical or religious concept. It's a biological process, as much a part of life as birth. It's the inevitable conclusion of the myriad functions and processes that keep us alive, from the beating of our hearts to the firing of neurons in our brains. And while we may not be able to answer the metaphysical questions about the afterlife, we can certainly explore the biological process of death in an understandable manner. That's the purpose of this exploration. It's not to provide definitive answers or to claim any kind of authority over the subject. Instead, it's an attempt to demystify the process of death, to break it down into its constituent parts and to present it in a way that's accessible, engaging, and yes, even a little bit entertaining. Because, let's face it, death is a part of life, and understanding it, even just a little bit, can help us appreciate life all the more. So, are you ready to embark on this journey with us? To traverse the unknown, to peek into the shadows, to explore the ultimate question? Join us as we delve into the enigma of life's ultimate exit. The cessation of life begins with the heart, the tireless engine that fuels our existence. Our heart, an unsung hero, works relentlessly, beating about 100,000 times each day, pumping blood throughout our body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every single cell. It's a vital force that keeps the intricate machinery of our body humming along, a force so omnipresent that we often take it for granted. But what happens when that force ceases? When the heart's rhythm, that steady, comforting drumbeat, falters and finally stops? This is the moment when the dance of life begins to slow, the moment when the process of death is set in motion. You see, our brain relies heavily on a constant supply of oxygen to function. This oxygen is carried to the brain via our bloodstream, a delivery system powered by the heart. When the heart stops beating, the flow of oxygen-rich blood is halted. The brain, starved of the oxygen it so desperately needs, begins to shut down. This shutdown doesn't happen all at once, but rather in stages. Initially, there's a rapid loss of consciousness. The body's systems begin to fail, one by one. The lights of awareness dim, the sounds of the world fade, and the strength that once moved mountains ebbs away. In just a matter of minutes, without the life-sustaining oxygen, the brain cells start to die. This is a point of no return. A silence descends, not a silence of stillness, but a silence of finality. A silence that marks the end of one journey and the beginning of another. A silence that speaks volumes about the fragility of life and the inevitability of death. When the heart's rhythm falters, the symphony of life begins its final act. The silence of the heart is not just an end, but also a profound reminder of the preciousness of each heartbeat, of each moment we are given. It's a reminder to cherish the time we have, to live fully and to love deeply, for in the end each heartbeat counts, each moment matters. As the heart falls silent, the brain, our command center, faces the impending darkness. This intricate organ, an enigma of nature, is the seat of our consciousness, the dwelling of our thoughts, emotions, memories, and dreams. But what happens when the heart, its loyal ally, ceases to pump life-giving oxygen-rich blood? Oxygen, it turns out, is the lifeblood of the brain. It is the fuel that powers the complex network of neurons, enabling them to communicate, process information, and command our bodies. Without oxygen, the brain's functions begin to falter. Imagine the brain as a bustling city, with neurons as its citizens. When the supply of oxygen is cut off, it's akin to a power failure. The city plunges into darkness. The citizens, the neurons, are left in a state of confusion, unable to communicate or function. This is the beginning of oxygen deprivation, or hypoxia. As hypoxia sets in, the brain's energy reserves dwindle. The neurons scramble to adapt, slowing their activity in a desperate bid to conserve energy. This gradual slowdown leads to a loss of consciousness, a state often described as akin to a deep, dreamless sleep. But the brain, resilient as it is, does not surrender easily. Even as the neurons slow their activity, they continue to fire sporadically, creating a flurry of electrical activity. It's like the city's citizens sending out distress signals, hoping against hope for a power restoration. However, if the oxygen supply remains cut off, the neurons, unable to sustain themselves, begin to die. This is the onset of brain death, a state from which there is no return. The once bustling city falls silent, its lights extinguished, its citizens gone. In the grand scheme of life and death, the brain's goodbye is a solemn, silent farewell. It is a testament to the fragility of life and the inevitability of death. In the absence of oxygen, the brain bows out, marking the biological end of life. With the departure of consciousness, the body begins its return to the earth. Imagine a journey, not of the soul, but of the physical body, a voyage of transformation that begins the moment life ceases. It's a process as natural as birth, growth, and aging. The final chapter in the book of life. The first stop on this voyage is a state known as rigor mortis. This is a temporary condition that sets in several hours after death, causing the body to become stiff and rigid. It occurs due to chemical changes in the muscles, a sign that the body is starting to break down. However, this stiffness is fleeting and usually dissipates within 1 to 4 days. From rigor mortis, the body transitions into decomposition. This is nature's way of recycling, a process orchestrated by microbes, bacteria, and enzymes already present within the body during life. It might sound unsettling, but it's a vital part of the circle of life. As the body breaks down, it returns essential nutrients back to the earth, contributing to the growth of new life. As decomposition progresses, the body undergoes various changes. There's bloating, followed by the breakdown of tissues and organs, until only the skeleton remains. This process of skeletonization can take weeks to years, depending on environmental conditions. And finally, even the bones break down, turning into dust over centuries. This is the body's final gift to the earth, a return to the very elements it was made of. So, while the question of what happens to our consciousness after death is wrapped in mystery, the fate of our physical form is a well-charted journey. It's a poignant reminder of our connection to the universe, a testament to the circle of life. In death, the body embarks on a new journey, becoming one with the universe from which it originated. Death, as we've explored, is not an event but a process. A fascinating journey that begins with the heart's final beat and ends with the brain's goodbye. This process, though shrouded in mystery and often feared, is as natural as the changing of the seasons, the setting of the sun, and the ebb and flow of the tides. We began our exploration with the heart, that tireless metronome that sets the rhythm of life. When it ceases its steady thump-thump, silence prevails, signaling the onset of death. This silence is not the end, but rather the beginning of a journey into the unknown. In the subsequent stage, the brain, that intricate web of neurons and synapses, begins to shut down. It's a gradual process, like the dimming of a light bulb. From the outer regions moving inwards, it slowly slips into a state of eternal slumber. This goodbye from the brain is quiet, subtle, and irreversible. Following the brain's farewell, we delved into the aftermath. The body, once a vibrant vessel of life, undergoes a series of transformations. Rigor mortis, the stiffening of the body, sets in, followed by livor mortis, the pooling of blood, and then decomposition, the return of the body to the earth from whence it came. In understanding the biological process of death, we've shed light on a subject often left in the shadows. We've explored the stages of death, from the heart's silence to the brain's goodbye and the body's post-death changes. It's a process that's as intricate as it is inevitable, a testament to the complexity and beauty of life itself. While death might be life's final frontier, understanding its process helps us appreciate the intricate dance of life even more. So as we journey through life, let's remember that death is not merely an end, but a part of the larger cycle that connects us all.